Ever wondered about the wild world of concept cars? These are the crazy cool designs that car makers came up with to wow the public, hinting at the future of driving. Some of these concepts made it to production, while others never left the design studio. A super iconic example is the 1955 Lincoln Futura, which screams space-age vibes. This beauty was later transformed by George Barris into the Batmobile for the 60s Batman show with Adam West. Only one original Futura existed, so they used a few Ford Galaxy chassis to make more Batmobiles. Now, let's take a trip back to the swinging 70s and groovy 60s. We'll check out 10 concept cars from that era. Some hit the streets, and some stayed just a dream. Number 1. Panther 6.
Every motor show manages to drum up a star exhibit. Motor Fair has bagged itself a sensation. It's this, the Panther 6, a production car.
Imagine strolling into the 1977 London Motor Fair and being absolutely blown away by the sight of the Panther. This beast of a car was 16 feet long and almost 7 feet wide, making it impossible to ignore. People were either speechless or mumbling in awe. This jaw-dropping supercar was the brainchild of Robert Jankel, the mastermind behind Panther Westwinds. Jankel had a knack for creating wild rides. He started back in 1971 with the Panther, a model that was such a hit it convinced him to ditch the fashion industry. He sold his textile business, took the cash, and set up Panther Westwinds right next to Brooklands in Surrey. From 1972, the company began building cars inspired by the classic SS100, like the J72. Panther Westwinds quickly gained a reputation for making insanely expensive, over-the-top, and beautifully finished cars, including the Felber Ferrari, DeVille, and Laser. They had a good run in the mid-70s, but as the decade came to a close, sales started to dip. With a bit more time on his hands, Jankel began dreaming up his next big creation. Number 2. Ford Probe 1. From a groundbreaking concept that sparked decades of innovation to a dream that fizzled out, meet the Ford Probe 1. This glassy, aerodynamic vision was as quintessentially 80s as perms and spandex leggings, yet it was conceived before the decade began, showcasing Ford's potential. Designed by Carrozzeria Ghia with input from their American counterparts, the Probe 1 emerged in a post-fuel crisis era, aiming for sleek, fuel-efficient cars loaded with electronic gadgets. With a drag coefficient of 0.25, a fuel efficiency of 39 miles per gallon, and clever underbody designs to cut down airflow turbulence, the Probe 1 was ahead of its time. But it was destined to remain a concept. When Ford finally rolled out the first production Probe in 1988, it leaned heavily on Mazda's technology and failed to live up to the excitement of the original Probe 1 and its subsequent concepts. It ended up being a real what-could-have-been car, a letdown from what started as an inspiring vision. Number 3. 1967 Cadillac Eldorado XP825 concept. The creation of the 1967 to 1970 Cadillac Eldorado was a journey filled with innovation thanks to Wayne Cady, a prolific designer at General Motors. Cady was behind many futuristic car designs for GM. Between 1959 and 1964, the Eldorado's development underwent numerous revisions, featuring everything from a space-age instrument panel to a unique front end. There were even concepts that toyed with the idea of equipping the car with 12 or 16-cylinder engines to match the grandeur of the Cadillac vision. Number 4. Silver Lotus Esprit concept. The original Lotus Esprit, developed by Italdesign for the iconic British car manufacturer, made its debut at the 1972 Turin Motor Show and was an instant hit with its sleek, wedge-shaped front-end hood. After a few tweaks in design, it went into production in 1973, with the first generation hitting the roads in 1976. For James Bond fans, the Esprit is legendary. It's the car driven by Sir Roger Moore in his third Bond film, the 1977 classic The Spy Who Loved Me. The European version of the Esprit boasted 160 brake horsepower, while the American market received a 140 brake horsepower Type 907 inline-4 engine. Number 5. 1977 Pontiac Trans Am. The concept proved too expensive to bring to market. General Motors estimated that making the Type K profitable would require a price tag of $25,000 per car. In 1979, GM also faced the additional cost of redesigning the Firebird and Trans Am. Despite these challenges, the Pontiac Trans Am in its final form has wowed millions with its iconic style and appearances in classic films like the 1977 hit Smokey and the Bandit starring Burt Reynolds. Number 6. 1964 Pontiac Banshee. When the Ford Mustang made waves in 1964, Pontiac, under the direction of maverick designer and engineer John DeLorean, saw the need to develop a sports car of their own. With the backing of Pete Estes, Pontiac launched projects XB833 and XB798, aiming to create a sportier ride. The Banshee, one of these projects, featured a Pontiac overhead cam 6-cylinder engine and weighed about 2,200 pounds, thanks to its fiberglass and steel construction. But what happened when the project was cancelled? Ultimately, the Banshee's designs influenced the third-generation Chevrolet Corvette in the late 1960s, with the 1968 model taking design cues from the Banshee prototype. General Motors leadership canceled the Banshee out of concern that it would eat into Corvette's profit margins. Chevrolet's top brass was particularly worried about losing their grip on the performance car market to Pontiac. Despite the setback, DeLorean made Pontiac a performance icon of the 1960s, with models like the GTO, the Firebird, and the Grand Prix, even during the peak of the Mustang's popularity. Number 7. 1963 Ford Mustang II concept. Ford's biggest automotive splash of the 60s started its journey back in 1962 as a sporty two-seater concept. This initial concept laid the groundwork for the second Mustang concept in 1963, especially noticeable in its sleek front bumper design. As baby boomers started buying cars, Lee Iacocca noted in his autobiography that more Americans were purchasing two vehicles, a practical daily driver and a sporty weekend car. The goal was to create a car for everyone, a car a secretary could drive to work, a young mechanic could modify for the drag strip, or a cruiser for the interstates. Originally developed under the successful Ford Falcon line, the Mustang was a smashing success for Ford, which had been cautious after the 1958 Edsel disaster. Lee later wrote that while the Edsel was a car searching for a non-existent market, the Mustang was the perfect car for the perfect time. By the end of 1966, Ford had sold over 1 million Mustangs. From that year onward, the Mustang had its own dedicated assembly line, cementing its place in automotive history. Number 8. 1970 Lancia Stratos HF0 by Bertone. The Lancia Stratos HF0, designed by Bertone and unveiled at the 1970 Turin Motor Show, was a groundbreaking concept car that revolutionized automotive design with its radical and futuristic styling. With its wedge-shaped body, sharp angles, and minimalist design, it captivated car enthusiasts worldwide. But the Stratos HF0 wasn't just a pretty face. It had impressive performance capabilities too. Built on a shortened Lancia Fulvia chassis and powered by a mid-mounted 1.6-liter V4 engine producing 115 horsepower, this car could hit a top speed of around 124 miles per hour and go from 0 to 60 in just 6.8 seconds. It was a true high-performance machine. What truly sets the Stratos HF0 apart, however, is its lasting impact on automotive design. Its wedge shape and minimalist approach inspired countless cars in the years that followed, making it one of the most influential concept cars ever. Today, it remains an iconic symbol of 1970s automotive design with a legacy that continues to inspire new generations of car designers. Number 9. 1961 to 1965 Chevrolet Corvette Mako Shark concepts. Between 1961 and 1965, Chevrolet developed two Mako Shark concepts that heavily influenced future Corvette designs. The 1965 Mako Shark II, in particular, featured design elements that made their way into the third-generation Corvette. Both of these stunning concepts were the brainchildren of legendary GM designer William Mitchell. The Mako Shark I was inspired by a real shark Mitchell caught off the coast of Florida, showcasing the creative and bold ideas GM was exploring during this period. These concepts are perfect examples of the innovative spirit that defined GM's design philosophy in the 60s. Number 10. 1961 Cadillac LaSalle XB715 concept. In 1961, Cadillac rolled out the XB715, aiming to rival the second-generation Ford Thunderbird that hit the streets in 1958. The goal was straightforward: craft a luxurious coupe that would lure buyers to the Cadillac brand, with GM President John E. Gordon aiming to outshine the Thunderbird. Under the guidance of chief designer William L. Mitchell, the XB715 sported sleek stealth headlights and paved the way for a trend in reducing excessive chrome. Following a similar pattern in the 1960s was the Pontiac Grand Prix. But despite the cool concept, what happened? Well, for those adventurous gearheads out there, another General Motors product swooped in, adopting the design and releasing it a few years later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button for more content like this. And remember to turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Until next time, keep exploring, stay curious, and we'll catch you in the next video.